Well, good day to you, exiles. I got quite an unsuspecting farming video for you today. Very much out of the ordinary compared to my usual bread and butter strategy of divination card farming. Pretty much either on the Cemetery or Crimson Temple this past season. Don't worry, I will definitely be going back to those maps, but something caught my eye recently, and it especially got my attention based on the build that I decided to play this league with Soul Thirst, how all of that times out. You all might be familiar with a player named Grimro, who probably needs no introduction. He came out with essentially a sort of Sentinel, pure Sentinel strategy. I think he ran Beach and a few other different maps, but Beach was a popular one, and he'd just go in and he'd just put the Sentinel on and then gather the loot, run back out. And my initial impression of his strategy on that, not all that impressive. I was pretty sure I could make more currency per hour divination card farming, and that may very well still be true. Then I saw another content creator who probably does deserve a little bit of praise. His name is Palsteron. I will have his video linked down below. I saw him do a video of Glacier, and then he explained what he was doing on that video. I am actually just going to open this video, basically showcasing what he was doing, and essentially he ran it like this. Went in, put his Sentinel down, and back through. I'm doing it a little bit differently. Second Pandemonium Sentinel, those are some very juicy Sentinel hits. And then a Stalker Sentinel comes out, and then you just see a bunch of stuff drop. Yeah, that Sadist Guard is from a Incubator, so that doesn't really count for this map's drops in particular. But you can see that was pretty juicy on the outcome there. Check out my flasks right now. I'm running a Soul Thirst the whole time here. I got 178 buffs, and it's only halfway done, which means I can come down here and just absolutely mow down everything here, looting the whole way. I see a couple altars spawned. Clear those up right quick. Oh, I wish I'd have hit that altar. Probably should have checked the altar first, huh? Well, map's finished, and I still got a few seconds left on the flask. In and out, easy peasy like that. So Palsteron introduced, he called it Sentinel and Go. It's basically the same thing Grimro was doing, except on Beach. But this map is very special because it has so much of the map's monsters, as well as the influence packs, are jam-packed onto that front door area. You're virtually guaranteed to get at least one superb Pandemonium Sentinel hit, and you're probably going to get all of your Sentinel here on that one as well. He did not run the exact same Sentinel setup, neither is Grimro. I like this one a lot. Some people like to save the Sentinels to not have their charges be consumed. Not a bad idea. Some like Sentinels upgraded to magic rarity. Not a bad idea. Some like Sentinel increased cast speed or an additional cast or more chain or whatever. Not bad. This is what I went with. You can pick out whatever you want. I mean, basically as a fundamental tree, it's double dipping on Stalker and Pandemonium Sentinels, and that was his strategy. He just went down there and he basically made quick work of the front end of the Glacier map. Didn't kill the boss, didn't need to. I only need to kill the boss when it's time to get the very last Exarch map, which I'm actually very close to doing. And then, yeah, just in and out, quick and easy. Almost completely self-sustained the maps that way. Almost, but not quite, because the map's a little bit too short. Didn't quite have enough monsters in self-sustain. But yeah, I am going to do a strategy like that. However, of course, I'm Snoo. I got to put my own little twist on the maps. I'm not going to run exactly with somebody else. I got to make it better, or at least better for me. And the way I'm making it better for me is I'm going to run on Dunes. My character was significantly faster than either of those two guys were running as far as just default run speed. I can get to and from the end of the map a fair bit faster, at least at the time that I saw their recordings. And so I really like Dunes as a map. Another reason I like Dunes is because it's great for Legion. And here's a little quick tip for you. You probably weren't aware of this, but Legion apparently cannot spawn on Glacier. Not on the front part of the map. It really surprised me. I don't understand why it can't. It can basically spawn over almost any other content. But I ran well over 100 maps, and I even forced Legions onto the Glacier map just to verify. It never once spawned on the front end of the map. If it had, I would probably run on Glacier, but because it doesn't, I'm going to run on Dunes, where it obviously can spawn. And one of the reasons for that is, if you weren't aware, Legion actually has phenomenal small nodes. and I should probably get around to telling you the sort of crux of this strategy, is Wandering Path. Yes, another very unorthodox keystone that I never really saw myself taking. I was turned off by it, honestly, quite a bit. Immediately from the get-go, I didn't imagine myself ever using it. I saw myself using Grand Design before I would use Wandering Path, but upon seeing Grimro and Palsteron talk about the increased effective modifiers, just how much that boosts up the quantities and everything, I just checked an 8-modded map recently on Dune. It had 199% quantity on it by default. That's so huge. That's crazy. I may even make a divination card farming strategy out of this. I don't know. There are some major losses to losing some of the notables, such as Flash Breach. Cannot get Flash Breach. That absolutely kills Breach for me, almost. But things like Legion do not have a sort of mandatory notable that you really feel like you absolutely must take. You know, it does have a notable that increases your chance of Legion Splinters being dropped as emblems by 0.6%, and then 0.2 come from small notables. Well, if these small notables are doubled, then it's almost the same value. And check this out. These notables here, or small nodes here, are not on notables, and they are the ones that really improve your return on investment with Legion, because you're getting more Templar and especially Marikath emblems due to these notables here. They are doubled in value with this strategy. So if anything, this is somewhat offset by the fact that you're losing a guaranteed Warhorde on each side. So it's hard to say exactly what comes out ahead, but this is pretty interesting side. You also get higher Legion chance because you're doubling up on these chances to spawn Legions, although you do miss these 4 here. You get extra double Splinter chances here, down here with these small nodes. So it's a very give and take sort of thing. I think it's great. It's quite interesting on the balance. We'll have to see. There were a few different variations of the passive tree. One thing that Palsteron definitely showcased was taking virtually all, I think he did actually take all of the map duplicate nodes here, and that's because he couldn't even sustain, not 100% sustain his glacier maps on there. Well, I can 100% sustain them, especially if I run some 8-modded corrupted maps, and if I do basically almost a full clear dunes, clear every time, I basically can 100% sustain dunes without taking every single one, which opens up a few other alternatives to some strategies, like picking up the Legion nodes. You'll see I picked up Harbinger nodes. I think he did that too. We have a whopping 60% chance to spawn additional Harbinger, even with no Harbinger Scarab. I still have all the shrine nodes. You know, surprisingly, the shrine small nodes are really good, are actually the better part of the shrine build. In fact, my shrine effects last even longer than they did before. I am missing out on the sort of duplicated shrines effects. You hit one shrine, you actually get 2 shrine effects, so that is a major loss there. No covetous shrine or whatever, but yeah, so I'd say overall shrines are a bit weaker overall, but it's still okay. I'm not going to be using domination. I'm just going to be using, this is absolute zero investment basically, aside from the alchemy orb and the chisels and the val orb, because I am valuing them. Here's something interesting. Abyss is extremely strong on the small nodes. Like, you miss Abyssal Army, but it's basically almost completely made up for with the small nodes here, and here, and then you have a whole bunch of extra chance to contain Abyss. Abyss is not super great, but it does put a lot of magic monsters on the map, gives you a few extra inspired learning buffs and much, I guess I should say, higher quality sentinel empowerments potentially. So I do like Abyss. You know, I can trigger it in the middle of the map and then kind of run around it and not have to babysit it too terribly much. Still going to run singular focus. I think those other guys did that too. I really do like singular focus. We're not killing the boss, so we don't have to worry about missing Cortex too much. Now, I said, I'm going to say this right now as a disclaimer. This is an Elk and Go strategy. That does not mean it's easier or less lucrative, because actually, you know, I'm trying to find a creative way to make perhaps a more lucrative or as lucrative strategy as some of the other strategies I've come up with, which are netting a little bit more than 10x an hour. And this Elk and Go strategy is more demanding on my character than even a full juiced cemetery map is, for example. Why? Well, mainly because of these small nodes. 4% increased effect modifiers on non-unique maps. You throw that on an 8-mod corrupted map like this, it gets a lot harder. A lot harder. Yeah, just saying that because, I mean, you turn a map from having like a low recovery to no recovery on the map. Well, fortunately, Life on Hit actually bypasses that completely. I'm still able to run any single map mod in the game. I think I haven't ran into a map that bricked me in any way, shape, or form. Very important to have a zero cost tornado shot with this flask on. It is indeed zero cost. I mean, basically almost everything is zero cost at that point. This build is looking pretty strong. I recently came out with a high investment strategy. You're going to see that in action in full force here. So heavy duty here. We're actually running Wrath of the Cosmos. So if you're running the same build as me and you like how how you just saw Soul Thirst interacting with the map, you know, the timing of it all, one way you can get around having worse gear than I have, or a character that's not nearly as capable as mine, gear-wise, drop Wrath of the Cosmos, okay? I'm probably going to get something like one extra exalt per hour from this keystone, maybe. I mean, it's kind of a lot if you do that. Surprisingly, especially on the Exarch influence, the Grand... what are they called again? Grand... Eldritch Embers are up to 3 chaos apiece now. Okay, they were like all the way down to 1. They were fairly even. Eater of Worlds is now dipped off again, and we got Exarch currency back up, and it doesn't really matter whether we're running Searing Exarch or Eater of Worlds, because I cannot take Shadow of Hunger and I cannot take Light of Dawn either way. So they're basically even as far as I'm concerned. You take whichever one you want. Take the less dangerous one. Take the more lucrative one. I'm not sure what to tell you. I think the best thing to do is to take, well, obviously the more lucrative one. In this case, it is Searing Exarch, and then put Soul of Aberrath in there. Make yourself immune to Burning Ground, and call it a day. Sounds like a pretty good idea to me. I have a POB link down below. It's going to be identical to what you just saw, might have seen in the high investment Soul Thirst Omniscience. Now Omniscience Tornado Shot build. It's going to be identical in that I'm basically making this video the same day that I made that one. So we got, just to showcase some of the things we have here, we got even longer lasting shrines. We got 6 extra rares on the map. We got more duplicated splinters. We got an even higher chance of Templar Marikath emblem legions if they spawn. We got over half of my maps will have a Harbinger for free. 15% of my maps will have a Delirium Mirror spawn on it. Probably 25% of my maps will have an Abyss spawn on it. Maybe 20% of my maps will have a Legion spawn on it, all for free. I am taking Ghosts too. That's funny, like the strategy, you actually run past things, you allow Ghosts to do things. There's a lot of extra quantity from the Ghosts doing things. I think Ghosts are probably the least valuable points I've spent here, but I am going to go ahead and use those. Here, yeah, we got much higher maps. Likely, this would be a decent strategy to farm maps for profit if you wanted to. Not a bad thing to do with some of these extra nodes here. And yeah, I think that about does it on that. So the focus is basically on Sentinel. Now there are no Atlas passive points that boost Sentinel directly. Basically, it's just going to be all about pack size, proper timing. And I got all my Sentinels in here. And these are all fairly premium Sentinels. Now, there's a little bit of a catch to the strategy, and that is that you're going to want to have decent Sentinels. In my opinion, nothing worse than like tier 2 premium drops. That would be like divination rewards, currency rewards. Obviously, there's like S tier, which is expedition rewards, there's Sentinel rewards. Could maybe be a lower tier, but I wouldn't settle for anything less than like tier 1 or tier 2 of one of the more premium Sentinel rewards, unless it has 2 or more Sentinel rewards. Like this one has divination and Harbinger rewards on it. You're going to need enough Stalker Sentinels, enough Pandemonium Sentinels to drive through that. We're just going to be going right through them all. I'm just going to put them away. I'm not messing with combining them and stuff during this currency per hour strat. Another great thing about this strategy is it was extremely easy to set up. By far the most annoying thing to set up on this strategy was the Sentinels, getting enough premium Sentinels together. I did have to buy a few of the Sentinels. I had to go out of my way to buy some of them. Yeah, I think you'll find this interesting. Let's see how it goes. I think we're going to jump into this. I got 100 Dunes maps here with a variety of corruptions. I did not throw out the bad ones. You know, I don't even know what these. I didn't even look at them. Some of them have beyond. Some of them are unidentified now. Some of them are 8 mod corrupted. Some of these have minus max player all res. Some of them are super easy, like a joke rolls on them. It's just a huge variety of things. I'm not even going to look at them. That's the great thing about this build and the strategy. I don't even have to look at the map mods. Just run in there, go do my business. And as you can see, there's no exalts to cover the cost of Sextants. There's no Scarabs or anything because this is truly an Alk and Go strategy. It's quite an unorthodox one, but yeah, it is technically an Alk and Go strategy. All right, we're going to start with an unidentified map here. We're going to start the timer. We got to get excellence open. I almost forgot to do that. Should probably get that open. Give me 1 second here, guys. Make sure we're good to go. Excellence cannot count sentinels, cannot see sentinels. So any sentinels I find, the sentinels I'm using, I'm not counting that towards the losses or gains in terms of currency. It says right here there's 100 Dunes maps. Boom, there it is. It's pricing them at 4 chaos apiece. That's, if anything, a little high. This map is actually not one of the more premium maps. It's kind of a middle-of-the-road map as far as value. It's definitely more premium than it is not, but I wouldn't call this super premium here. So I usually do this here so you guys can see it. There, I'll take a snapshot here. 100 Dunes map. That's it, right there, and we're gonna start the timer. Got it there. Okay, there you go. You can see it clear as day. 326. 8% increased quantity of items found in this area. That's it. Searing Exarch. Let's do this. I do have loot filter. It's ultra strict. It's not as strict as it has to be, but it's pretty damn strict. So you can see that. There we got a Delirium Mirror spawn. I'm gonna spawn the Exarch Influence. I'm just gonna go down here with my amazing phasing. I'm gonna go around here, kill this stuff real quick. Now I'm taking 25% increased damage. There's Wrath of Cosmos looking for another good spot. Oh damn, I missed the Legion over here. I didn't realize that. Better kill this Legion before I spawn more altars. I try to here. I think I'm actually gonna not hit that altar until I finish this Legion. Yeah, Legions probably don't have a boss spawn. In most cases, I think they're gonna come without a boss. But, you know, maybe they do. It's a little bit of a kill or be killed strategy here. I'm kind of racing against the monsters. They might kill me. I think, oh, here's the boss, yeah. Normally I'm not gonna kill the boss, but I think this is the last map of the, yeah, this is. So, kind of starting with the Incandescent Invitation. I'll make sure that I don't accidentally have too many invitations there. Well, because I killed the boss, I didn't kill the Legion fast enough, so now I've lost my Soul Thirst stacks because the timer ran out. That's okay. Come back and kill some of the cannon fodder down here. I don't know what that is. I think that's something that's not supposed to show up on my loot filter. Huh. Okay. I'll make sure that's not I don't think that's worth anything. Actually, I am having a small issue with my loot filter. Some things are showing up when they shouldn't be. Gold amulets suddenly started showing up in my loot filter randomly, even though they're not supposed to. Kind of odd. I don't know, for some reason I'm able to use... Now these guys can definitely kill me if they hit me. I'm taking extra damage. But they failed to, so all good. There's a couple things still left alive. I'm stuck with no Soul Thirst, Soul Eater buffs, so I'm just gonna get on out of here for now. You will see I am progressing a little bit. I'm actually level 99 now. I am totally expecting to regress in my currency found, or my my leveling, I should say. Not gonna level. When I end this 100 maps, I'll probably be at 0%. Because I'm definitely pushing the envelope on this. So that was map number 1. the map mods were probably fairly easy. A Legion did randomly spawn, so that was cool. Had a higher chance of being Marikether Templar. It was not. So, oh well. But I like playing on Dunes because I can actually see Legion spawn. And that is really nice. Okay, there you go. You're going to see a lot of double map drops. A lot of Dune maps. Yeah, that's not the greatest altar, but we're going to hit that altar. Looks like I'm going to do most of this map taking a whole bunch of extra damage. So this should be interesting. Let's see how it goes. Oh yeah, I got to sentinel this stuff up, don't I? Boom, 1 sentinel. 2 sentinels. Sentinel and go. Alright, every single currency, Eldritch currency drop is going to be duplicated and what should we call it? Grand here. Headhunter build. I think Wrath the Cosmos really probably ought to be reserved for Headhunter builds for all the extra defense they provide. But this is now the 5th. The 5th one. No, really unfortunate not seeing any currency here. Where's the Eldritch currency? Can't get any. Bad luck. Bad luck, I guess. King power cores. Oh yeah, you can see my Stalker Sentinel needs a little help, so I gotta sort of delay it so it has a chance to actually hit stuff.
I'm not up to that just yet.
I probably should have died on this map with this many altars hit, but it's important to keep in mind that it's actually increased damage, it's not more damage. The monsters don't do more damage to me, they just do increased damage. Oh, okay, I just died from some weird ground effect, I guess. Or whatever, I was ready to go out. Like I said, not particularly concerned about the status of my leveling after this run. I'm definitely not going to really worry about that too much. Really want to focus on getting in and out of maps quickly. I really have no idea how long it's going to take me to do 100 maps. I have not tested 100 maps doing this. I've tested 50 maps twice doing this, but I changed my strategy slightly since doing that, so not exactly sure. Oh, that was a nice wrap around there. Should be seeing a fair number of exalted orbs. I think a lot of my sentinels are currency rewards, so hopefully I will come out with decent exalted orb numbers. As you can see, I'm not like I'm not so focused on full clearing everything. I do kind of want to trigger most of the Eldritch packs if possible. I'm not terribly concerned about it. Oh, there's a ghost. Ghost? Maybe the ghost is giving me Scarabs. Also, one interesting thing, I'm not really sure about whether or not the increased quantity gives me more sentinel rewards. It's kind of hard to tell whether it actually affects that or not. I kind of have to guess that it doesn't, but it might. I mean, obviously it's going to affect generic drops, but I don't know if it affects sentinel drops either from the empowerment reward, which is just the random rewards that come up to, or the assigned reward, you know, percent chance to drop currency or whatever. So it's basically two separate categories of rewards. And I'm not sure how that works exactly. Almost feels like I haven't taken any hits yet if I started doing this. But I'm sure I have. This character is so strong at this point. I will say this, I think thus far,
I'm not up to that just
the
yet.
rewards I've seen are really quite pitiful. I haven't seen any decent rewards. I've not even seen a single Grand Eldritch currency. Really bizarre. Anyway. We'll be depositing a lot of stuff in these. I mean, you can see it doesn't really feel like I found anything. It's just going to be a quantity over quality kind of run. And I like that, you know, it's fun to not necessarily have to feel like I gotta shoot for the moon on the, like try and find a apothecary drop or whatever. That's a tall order, you know, it requires a lot of fortunate RNG. Oh my god, look at that pandemonium kid. Jeez. There we go, that looks a little bit better. Finally found a recombinator. Usually I find at least like one recombinator per map. So that was pretty bad luck. With ritual there, I'm not doing ritual. I think with a delirium map, you probably do want to go out of your way and full clear the map if possible. Probably wise. There's just so many extra monsters here. Yeah, as far as doing lights and stuff like that, not very interested in that.
I'm not up to that.
Band-Aid.
Hail. That one'll bring up some worthy baubles. Welcome.
Wow. God. Okay. Mommy told me to never sentinel and power an entire expedition. Wow, that was hard. That was real hard, guys. Impossible to kill a sentinel charge expedition without a meta skill. Can't be done. So they say. Well, with this shrine, I can do anything. Where's the boss? Where's the boss at? Damn two-phase boss. I gotta click on the exalted orb. Joink! Rip you out of existence. My heart sank for a second because I thought my game crashed. Like, oh, no. With the exalted orb on my screen. I think I did actually lose my Stalker Sentinel completely there though. Embers looking good now. Finish clearing this. Yeah, I should probably finish clearing this map. All these embers. Yeah, good enough. Well now, this is it. Moment of truth. I really don't know what the results are. I mean, I can kind of see some of the numbers here, but as far as like which particular things that I found amounted to the most value, where did the consistency currency come from? There's my dump tab. We're going to take a look at excellence. Definitely going to deep dive this one because again, I don't really know what it's going to look like. I know I got 3 major invitations. I got a few exalted orbs. I felt like I got a little bit bad RNG on the exalted orbs, respective to the kind of results I usually see. I did use some currency sentinels. I should put one disclaimer up here in the front. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. This is totally self-sustainable strategy, obviously, since it's a kind of Alk and Go strategy, not using any Scarabs or any Sextants. However, I was using Sentinels, obviously. I was using fairly premium Sentinels. I'd say the worst category of Sentinel I used was like tier 2 currency roll. And I did use one of the best Sentinels in existence, which is the Expedition currency one. It was a tier 3, but I did use one of those. I think it's fair to use just one out of how many, and it was a lot of Sentinels I went through, and no, I did not self-sustain the Sentinels. So, I mean, I self-sustained Sentinels in general, but not with the kind of rolls that I was using. So, do need to get that out there. I did actually buy a few of the Sentinels up front, 20, 30, I think I bought 1 or 2 for like 40 chaos a piece. You can buy Sentinels, not a bad idea. I like having them live searched for like a weighted sum, is what I like to do for that. But yeah, let's get into the final results. You'll see here on the right hand side, I did level some Awakened Enhanced Supports. Yeah, we are moving up in this world, going to Awakened Enhanced Supports. These cost a pretty penny to level. Now, the interesting thing about these in comparison to the regular Enhanced Supports is the regular Enhanced Supports, I could really only justify categorizing it as worth about 1, or sorry, not even 1, just half an exalt per enhanced leveled from 1 to 3. Whether it's, you know, just looking at the successful corruption rates versus, you know, the price that people would sell it to me for versus buy it uncorrupted, for example, level 3. I could really only justify calling it about half an exalt per gem, but these are, you know, much higher, much more premium gems. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to level from rank 3 to rank 4, and rank 3 costs 5x. Basically 5x, maybe a tiny bit more, depending on the time you want to buy it. It costs about 5x to purchase, and then you can sell it at rank 4 uncorrupted about 7x. So it's honestly worth about almost 2x per gem, leveled from 1 to 4. And then level 5, I did just check, level 5 is worth about 35 exalt. And I've sold one of them at 38 exalt, I think, like a week ago. But I am going to count these for the sake of this video. I'm going to count these at 1x a piece, not 2. It was a little less than 2 on average, but definitely more than 1x a piece for these Awakened Enhanced Support Gems, leveled from level 1 to level 4. So for the sake of this video, these will be counted at 1x a piece. That's a total of 7 exalts bonus from leveling gems in this strategy. This was 100 maps, almost full clearing dunes every time. Or at least between half clearing and full clearing dunes every time, making it all the use out of the Sentinel I could. Usually not doing the boss, of course. But yeah, so I just wanted to clear that out. There will be no breach rings and grasping males to mess with this one because that wasn't part of the strategy. I did see quite a few legions. I didn't get a single America emblem, I don't think, which kind of surprised me considering it was 100 maps. So I saw a variety of different encounters, and I skipped most of them. I did some of the abysses that were around, especially in conjunction with Sentinel. Obviously, when I saw Legions, that was exciting because I can make great use of the Pandemonium Sentinel for that. But here we go. Let's dig in to the numbers. I didn't even take a look at this yet. In fact,
not up to that
I
just
need to
yet.
hit this button one last time to reset everything to make sure it comes out. Oh, by the way, this was about 3.5 hours to do 100 maps. I mean, that was kind of one of the nicest things about this strategy. It wasn't 8 hours and something to do 100 maps, unlike the cemetery or the Crimson Temple. No, just 3 hours and 50 minutes. 3 hours and 30 minutes, sorry. And it could have been a little faster, but anyway, let's see here. So it looks like on the very top, we got 6 raw exalted orbs. Probably one of those is exalted shards leveled up. So I suspect that was 5 raw X found. Honestly, a tiny bit surprised those were on top, considering I didn't find that many. So we got raw X on top. We got 4 incandescent. Yeah, okay. So yeah, about 4. You can get 3 or 4 depending on the timing of everything. Stacked decks number 3. Okay, they seem to have gone up a tiny bit in value, but that's interesting. Dune map. Well, this is nice. You see, I started with exactly 100 dune map. I now have 111 dune map. So even without actually putting anything on the map, I still 100% self-sustain the map. That's actually a big deal. The one thing I didn't like about the glacier strategy is you don't 100% sustain the map. You do with this, and since you're rolling the maps and you're just accepting literally any roll with this build anyway, no problem. So if you can't accept every roll, I mean, probably 11. Maybe no more than 11 out of the 100 are going to be a bad roll. Here's an interesting one. 118 Grand Eldritch Embers. So that is primarily Wrath of the Cosmos at work. That's right here. Yeah, I definitely died a few times because of this. I died a few times from my own mistake. I died a few times from flukes and stuff. I knew it would be almost impossible to progress at all. But you know what? Actually, look at this. I have over 2 bars experience in there. So I kind of ended strong. I didn't die at all for like the last 25 maps or something. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I would say that, generally speaking, there's no way I would progress from 99 to 100 doing this strategy. I mean, just Wrath of the Cosmos it's just no bueno when it comes to leveling. But that's okay. So, you know, I can switch to a different strategy and finish out leveling to 100 very soon, hopefully. Awakened Sextants, okay, raw Chaos Orb. So, you know, it all just looks rather plain, really. I mean, the only thing that's kind of surprising here is that either stacked decks, I guess, which the reason there's so many stacked decks on here is because a lot of my Sentinels had divination rewards, actually. And we'll see some of the divination cards down here as we go on. Burial Medallions. Now, you know what's funny? Most of these Burial Medallions did not come from the Expedition Sentinel. They just came from sort of random Sentinel-empowered monsters that just happened to drop that. Okay, now we do have some Recombinators. Of course, Recombinators are going to be common in this strategy, and I did run a few with Sentinel rewards on them. We got 3 Saints Treasures. Okay, that's just random divination card drops. Power cores coming in strong here. I actually forgot to switch off the affinity for Sentinels and did not. I wrongfully put all my power cores in the Sentinel tab for like the first 10 maps or so. But I mean, that's not going to make a huge difference. 3 raw Templar emblems, so to get a little bit Templar emblem love there. A couple Scarabs coming in, a couple Prime Chaotic Resonators. Surprised there's no more divination cards. So I didn't get a single big divination card drop, that's for sure. And I probably honestly should have got at least one like major divination card drop, you know, like a 1x div card or something. But yeah, it never happened. Just okay, one simulacrum. So there you go. You can see that I did do quite a few Delirium Mirror on Dunes, you know, slowly 10 or 20 simulacrum splinters at a time, finally making a full simulacrum there at the end. You know what, actually there were a couple metamorph Sentinels I did, so a little bit disappointed to see how low these are. These sort of results with the Metamorph Sentinel makes me think Metamorph's actually not that good of a choice here. Let's see what kind of... Now, I did not do a single unique Sentinel, so unique rewards aren't a very good choice, I don't think, anyway. especially this league. So we do have 1. That's actually worth anything, and that's 7 league steps. So, this is a really awful league for uniques. I would not recommend pursuing that, generally speaking. Yeah, so I think the MVP here is Wrath of the Cosmos with the Grand Eldritch Embers pulling in a total of 300 chaos almost. That's not too bad. Raw X, I do feel like I got a little gypped on there. I was kind of expecting about 10 of them in 100 maps maybe with this strategy. With how many Sentinels I had with currency reward, tier 1 or tier 2 currency rewards. So it's a little bit of a shame. Maybe I want to see what some of the other currencies I had were. I mean, there's a lot of currencies here. Now, here's the interesting thing. Like my, I do think I actually see Orbs of Regret, but I know for a fact I do not see, for example, Val Orbs on my loot filter. So I have 105 Val Orbs. That's just how many Val Orbs dropped in stacks of 2 or more. So if a Val Orbs drop in a stack of 2 more, I will pick those up. So that's something cool about the currency rewards coming from Sentinels, is they do stack up. And if you want to run a really tight loot filter, you can kind of benefit directly from only picking up them when they are stacked up by something. Same with Orbs of Scouring. I definitely don't see single drop Orbs of Scouring, and obviously don't see single drops of Orbs of Alteration. I don't even think I see Orbs of Alteration unless they're in stacks of 5 or higher, actually. Yeah, okay, Exalted Shard there. That tells me for sure I actually dropped 5 raw Exalted Orbs. You would have seen in the highlights reel that there was no highlight reel that featured, you know, any sort of amazing drop or big drop or anything, and that's just because this strategy doesn't involve, you know, a major drop. I could have probably put in some highlights for some major Sentinel explosions, but I just didn't feel like it was really worth it. It was more for the humor than anything else. Okay, so anyway, we got 36.17 exalt here, and we started with 2.3 exalts. It was exactly 400 chaos. That's about 200 and or 2.3 exalts worth of an investment, and it was 3.5 hours. So we can pretty easily determine the X per hour that was from this. So we got 36.17 plus 7, because that's from the awakened enhanced support, leveled up 7 of them successfully. Probably, honestly, a little bit more than 7 of them, but I progressed more than 7 full gems. But anyway, we'll count it as 7. So that's 43.17. And then we got net profit. Okay, it's pretty easy. Minus 2.3. 40.87. And we take this divided by 3.5 hours. And this is how many X per hour it was. It was 11.68 X per hour. Wow. Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. So without the gem leveling, you can see that it was a little under 10x an hour. A little under 10x an hour without the gem leveling. So that's good. Now, I've been hearing other content creators talk about this strategy. Actually, it's a very popular strategy this season because of how low maintenance it is. And the only major problem with this is it requires you to really pay a lot of attention to the sentinels that drop on the ground. You got to pick up a lot of the sentinels. Now my loot filter is actually too tight to pick up. I'm not picking up. I only pick up obsidian sentinels, for example. I'm only picking up magic and rare obsidian sentinels. So I'm leaving a lot on the ground that I'm not even looking at. But you know, if you were really dead set on this strategy, you'd be picking up a lot more sentinels than that. You'd be identifying a lot of stuff. It would take some time. Unfortunately, I am identifying them on the go, so the time it took to do these runs does include identifying the sentinels. Okay, so that's about the end of that story. 11.6x an hour. I don't know. I guess we'll call this 10 to 12x an hour. You know, depending on whether or not you count the gem leveling because honestly you probably should, because this strategy's not bad for gem leveling. There's a lot of going in and out of the map and killing a whole bunch of stuff. The Dunes is a very tight map. It's high pack size. We are running corrupted maps, so we have a decent amount of 8-mod corrupted maps, and the pack size is pretty big already because of 4% increase effective modifiers on non-unique maps per node on the Atlas passive tree. Makes for a pretty juicy map, honestly. This is the kind of cool thing about this strategy, is it feels like you're doing a high juicing strategy, even though you just quick in and out and it costs you like nothing to do it, minus the maps and the sentinels. Pretty cool. But I think I do prefer, as cool as this strategy is, it's kind of a one season, one time thing. I do prefer the juicing. I do prefer divination card farming over this. But I do want to do one more strategy like this, where instead of just doing pure alch and gold, I want to do basically the same thing, same map, and I want to actually do Legion. I'm focused on Legion. I'm curious to see what the currency per hour would be if I did basically the exact same thing, except I also did Legion. A Legion Scarab and a Legion Sextant, and probably that's it. I don't really think of anything else that would be worth doing. I might put like a polished Abyss Scarab on the map or something. I don't know. I don't think it's really be that worth it, because I can really, it would be so cool to do that, because it would guarantee you premium Pandemonium Sentinel shots, with 2 Legion, 2 Pandemonium Sentinel shots, and then can stalker the rest of the map, basically. I'm really looking forward to that one. I had already planned to do that one before I even did this video, and I'm looking forward to that one more than I was looking forward to this farm. But we kind of got to establish a baseline. We got to see what the baseline is, and the baseline is 10 to 12x an hour. So, question: will you post this to YouTube? Farm method? Yes. This is the video in the making, and if you're watching this, you're probably watching it on YouTube. So, there you have it. I will see you guys on the next video. It'll be coming out, I don't know, pretty soon. This was my farming session of the day on my day off. So, yeah, you'll have to wait a little bit. Hopefully not too long. Also got to do the 1-month review reflect of the league. Pretty good overall, I'd say. I just wish I could play more. That's about it. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm out for now, and I will catch you in the next video. Please put any questions you have in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed the farm, the very unorthodox, very un-snoo-like farm of Alch and Go on a map that does not drop a divination card. Kind of odd for me, I know. So, yeah. See you around. Thank you again.